The United States has the highest GDP in the world, especially on a per capita basis. We see that basically Americans make more money, have more discretionary income. For a lot of people that feel that they don't have enough, that's a hard pill to swallow. But the system that we have around us allows for a lot of luxury, at a very low price. Things are more expensive in other countries. And some of the things that we just basically take for granted are half the price here as they are in other places, chief among which is fuel. And you say, oh, that's really ridiculous. Gasoline is outrageous. Well, it has always been twice the price in Europe. And both countries, continents are still thriving in terms of the ability to produce and to move their products and move themselves from A to B with fossil fuels. Okay, let's go into some more specific details here. Export intensity refers to the share of output that a firm is exporting that is related, one, to its size, and two, by the range of specific features that go along with the management interests, the production efficiencies, the labor costs, the research and demand costs. All these type of things contribute to the range. Basically, what we see is that there is an incremental internationalization that holds that exporting begins in a sequential process that leads a company to expand from its home market to the most proximate, usually geographically neighboring or socially similar country, and then progressively increasing distance to other countries. This is clearly why the United States and Canada trade so often here. Before I diverge again, fuel, I want to diverge again back to fuel. Where does the United States get most of its gasoline from? Is it from OPEC? No, it's from Canada. And there's a very simple reason for that. There's a pipeline. We don't have to ship it across the ocean in boats. We can just simply run down a pipeline, and most of the fossil fuels in the United States come from that. So what importers try to do is improve the odds of success. They study strategic issues, what's available, what's selling. They study the procedural issues, how easy it is to get it into their country. While an exporter may deal directly with agents or distributors in the foreign country or directly through third-party intermediaries, such as an export manager or other types of trading things, the importer has none of these type of things available. They have to, basically do it all themselves. In 2011, in my opinion, the neatest, greatest thing that has changed the face of importing forever is the internet. It's a form of direct exporting, importing that allows companies access to markets at low cost with very high impact. Basically, the knowledge is complete. Every company can have perfect knowledge as to what is available and how to formulate the trade. In the end, we talk about trading companies that perform many of the functions for the manufacturers. When the manufacturers are not able to expedite these services directly, they use exporters with specialized services such as freight forward. Like I said, these are the specialists that help an exporter with documentation that accompanies and exports. They are the travel agents, like I said, of the export world. They help move the product from A to B. It's a level of very deep knowledge that is. It takes a long time to learn. It's not an easy thing to do, and for that reason, travel costs will always remain high. although the information is transferred very readily through the internet, it is not, how should I say, readily available for everyone to understand. It takes a certain amount of expertise to be able to understand exactly how things connect and how a product will move from A to B, especially when it comes in terms of the legal documentation. Basically, government agencies need to be taken into consideration in this topic here. They also often provide assistance in terms of loans to importers. Bank guarantees are available for an exporter's working capital needs. There's, of course, always insurance against everything. Everything can be insured, especially when there's a product involved. The freight forwarders, as I mentioned, specialize in supervising the moving of cargo to overseas destinations. There are also third-party logistics agents, or so-called 3PLs, that develop technology to help companies understand trade practices. They can identify opportunities, help you manage risks, kind of shepherd the export and the imports between the buyers and the sellers. Then, of course, part of this market is counter trade. Counter trade is any one of several different arrangements by which are traded either bilaterally or multilaterally in transactions that do not involve cash or credit. Once that comes into play, it's a horse of a different color. So often we're talking here about bartering. Bartering means trading products or goods and services versus trading for money. Offsets are agreements by which the exporter helps the importer earn foreign exchange or the transfer of technology or production into the importing company. So that's often a good first off. Not to be ignored are the customs agencies. They assess and collect duties, as well as ensure compliance with import regulations, making sure that nothing dangerous is imported. And of course, anything could be declared dangerous, and therefore it can be subject to a higher scrutiny. So basically, an import broker, those are the guys that in the end help by valuing products to qualify for more favorable duty treatments, qualifying products for customs refunds. The tariffs are reduced through drawback provisions. They help by deferring duties by using bonded warehouses, or one of the more interesting things is a foreign trade zone. A foreign trade zone basically means that the goods and services moved from owner A to owner B inside the trade zone are done basically duty-free. So things can be shuffled around and not necessarily be taxed in the process here. One of my favorite suggestions by Bill Clinton is that the internet become a foreign trade zone and that anything that's sold over the internet should not be taxed. I thought that was a wonderful idea. And no, really a very practical, wonderful idea, but obviously it's never come to play because countries are still concerned about losing so much revenue by not taxing the importation of goods. So basically what we have in many situations is the situation that there's documentation involved. Documentation involves the bill of sale, the bill of lading, the way bill, the packing notice, the insurance documents, the country of origin. A lot of times there's like I mentioned, I think in a previous chapter, a stigma against a certain country where they say we don't want anything that has anything to do with this country going through our country. So, for example, if part of the product has been circulated in its life cycle through Cuba, then the United States would reject it. Cuba is still on the blacklist. Iran has gone on and off the blacklist of many countries of the world. The same thing with Iraq and other countries. All of these type of things, make the importation much more difficult here. In the end, the attempts to import a product into a country usually involve very simply the legal rights to move this product in. And these legal rights often take several different forms. The most dominant of which simply means is that I have a license to sell this product exclusively in my country. And exclusivity is something that has a strong disadvantage in the sense that you have to move this product as it's demanded. In other words, you have very little choice as to who buys it. Once I was offered an exclusivity with ski packages to Chile. I turned it down, and then I found out that the particular organization that had offered to us was advertising me as their exclusive partner for ski packages to Chile. So I called him up and I said, hey, what's going on here? I didn't want exclusivity. And he said, oh, don't worry about it, Michael. You have exclusivity. I said, well, I don't want the exclusivity. He said, well, actually, you don't understand. You're the only one interested in Germany in selling our product. So, the point simply becomes you have the rights. You can exploit these type of things here. Usually exclusivity, in my opinion, is counterproductive.